Okay, guys, we got a problem. Really got to talk about this one. Ooh, man. All right, this is driving everyone really crazy right now. It's the super counter, guys. The super counter is driving people nuts. So what do we do about this? Is this something that even really needs to be nerfed or touched? We got to talk about it. And I don't think it's a black and white problem-solving issue. I think this is actually a really nuanced thing. And so fortunately in the last video, a lot of people flooded the comments with some incredible suggestions, not just on the super counter, but just in the game overall in general. So I feel like it's appropriate that at this time moving forward, for us to create a better game, we have to discuss the super counter because it is such a hot topic right now. And guys, drop some comments. Like, I want to hear from y'all. I want to hear you guys' ideas. Like, do you have any ideas on how to change the super counter thing? So if you have any ideas at all, drop them down there in the comment section below, and I'll definitely talk to you guys. I think it's really important to not only make your voices heard, but to know that the devs are listening to you guys. So when you guys do say something, and a lot of you guys have really good ideas, they're actually taking note of these things. So definitely make your voices heard, guys. In my opinion, I think we kind of have to peel back the layers a little bit. I think when we look at the super counter and the problems that people are having, I think it's really broken down into two things, and it's the super counter and I think it's the Vanish Wars. So I want to tackle the super counter first before we get into the Vanish Wars. So there are talks of people saying that they want to make the window of the super counter smaller. But in my opinion, you cannot ignore firstly the input lag. And I'm so grateful that you guys flooded the comments telling me in the last video that I wasn't crazy when I told you I was experiencing these delay issues in the buttons. It's driving me mad. So there is an actual input lag and delay issues and something going on with the response time with these buttons. So understanding that, and the devs have to be well aware of that issue. And I think to accommodate for that, they opened the window of the super counter more. And I think it was a good move. I think just naturally, even if you didn't have the delay issue, the super counter should be a little bit easier than it was in BT3. But I think when you have input lag delay issues, then you also have jank, because let's be honest here, guys, there is some jank, and you have online lag, which is very inconsistent. I just don't think they should be making window adjustments to the super counter unless they fix some of these issues, which for me primarily is that input lag or that input delay. Now if they can fix that, then yeah, make the window a little bit smaller so that at the highest level the game doesn't just become a super counter war the entire time. But you can't do that until you fix that input delay issue. You can't be making something a little bit more frame specific if the controls are just unresponsive. So if you have this delay issue and you're trying to make the super counter window tighter than it already is, and there are a lot of people out there who are struggling with this as is, kind of makes this a recipe for disaster. Until you fix the button delay, I don't believe the window of the super counter should be any smaller than it is right now. Another idea I heard was taking the super counter and making it cost 2 skill count bars. I'm completely against this because this is a move that requires some kind of execution, right? Doesn't have to be perfect right now in the conditions. We've already established that there's button delay issues, there's online lag, and there's jank. So I believe the devs deliberately opened this window up to accommodate for those issues. The super counter is there as a safeguard against the inevitable infinite combo and reset. I mean, these things in this kind of system are inevitable. So the cunning player at the higher level is, if you put this 2 skill count bar tax on the super counter, is going to take full advantage of that. I promise you. What they're going to do is they're going to make you waste that super counter. Once they've noticed that you've taken that 2 skill count bar hit, these conditions in the Vanish War better be in your favor, because if you lose that, they're going to put you in an infinite, they're going to reset you, and they're going to keep doing that over and over again until they get the win. Now the real cunning player who knows that you're going to win this Vanish War might deliberately lose this Vanish War because they either have an after image pop and they know that any follow-up they're easily getting out, or if they're just a damn good player and they're confident enough in their ability to go get you again after this little exchange, they're gonna go get you, and then they're gonna put you in a reset, and they're gonna put you in infinite combos. I promise you it's gonna happen. You can't have that on the super counter. You cannot have a 2 skill count bar tax on this, because this is your safeguard to getting out of those combos. I'm not even including the sparking combos, and we all know sparking mode is being abused right now, so I'm just not the biggest fan of this idea. Now, if you wanted to buff the revenge counter and have that function as a combo breaker, I think that would be more appropriate. But if you're gonna do this, then you have to nerf the super counter, because now you're making defense way too strong. So this definitely does require a lot of thought. You know, it's very nuanced because of the situations. It's not like this is an offline only game like BT3. Here we got input delay lag, we have some jank, we got online connection issues. But yeah, if they did want to buff the revenge counter and nerf the super counter, it might not be the worst idea, because it will function as a combo breaker, and that could be a quick way to reset the neutral. Now, either way, I don't think the super counter is the issue. I think the real issue that people are facing right now is the Vanish wars. Now, this is where I think there absolutely needs to be some kind of change. This is draining everyone, because it takes so long to get through this exchange, and watching it can be very boring. So I know a lot of people who want to watch high level play, they're gonna just see a super counter, and then we go straight into this Vanish war, and then we just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. This takes up way too much of the game, and it is a slog to get through. We all need to come up with a solution here, guys. Seriously, you guys came up with some incredible ones last video. Please make your voices heard. And it's really important, guys. Like, they're listening to you guys for sure. And you guys make some incredible points. And I love talking to y'all, for real. So drop some comments and let's talk about it, you know, so we can figure out a way to make this game better for all of us. But off the top of my head, the Vanish War, I think they have a couple of options. One, they can maybe make it cost a little bit more key. It's a little bit more key taxing, because if they do that, we can get out of the exchange a little bit faster. Maybe there's a way to like limit how many vanishes you do before we go into another mini game, some kind of clash mini game. I know the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 fan-made game actually had this feature, and I thought it was pretty cool. You know, you go into something else, it breaks it up a little bit, makes it more interesting. I don't think it's as fun anymore, especially as like a player, just because you know at a higher level you're gonna have to keep doing these vanishes over and over and over and over, and it slows down the game so much where it's like, let's just get back to the game. Sometimes you might just want to lose it because you're like, all right, I don't feel like doing this anymore. And then the viewer, they're watching this and they're getting bored. So I think something should change here. And I think this is where a lot of the problems lie. And it's in this Vanish war. And yeah, you know, the super counter does kind of get annoying with the frequency in which it's popped. But like I said, I don't think the conditions really allow for them to make too many adjustments to it. Like I said, maybe they can make the window slightly smaller, but I really would like to see them tackle this Vanish War thing first, because I feel like this is what's really throwing off the pace of the game. And if they can just transition it into something else and make it more entertaining for the viewer, more fun for the player, I think this would address a lot of the issues that we're having right now. But hey guys, as always, the most important thing is you guys being vocal. So I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments and what you think about adjusting either the super counter or the Vanish Wars. Should anything even change? Definitely want to hear from you guys. I know the devs want to hear from you guys, and y'all make some really good points. You know, I see some of the conversations in the comments and y'all make some really good points. So I think it's important that we all get our voices out there and make this game better for all of us. It's a beautiful game, guys. Like, don't get me wrong. I know that we're all facing some issues with it right now, but ultimately I think this game is going to improve. They just need to drop a couple of patches, and I think in a few short months, maybe even less, hopefully, we'll have a different game in our hands. But hey, y'all, I really appreciate you guys checking in with me. I know this super counter discussion is pretty deep, guys, but hey, it's all good. We're going to figure it out. We're going to get through it. We're gonna have a better game in our hands, y'all. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.